What is up, my dogs? It's your boy, Mike Mason. We are here for a very special Glass Art Society Conference after party. Um, this event and this organization, if you've been with us as part of the community, very special to me and a part of the history of this show and this channel. Really, um, this year was no different than the rest. Completely magical. We're going to talk about why tonight. We're going to watch some of that. I've got an awesome panel with me. Let me take a moment to introduce them, and then we'll kind of talk about this Tacoma Glass Conference that was really something special. Um, my co-host, the lovely Carrie Strope.
Hey there.
How
Glad
are
you
you
could all
tonight?
join us. I'm really excited to revisit some of the footage that we captured while I was off checking out other things and chatting with people and getting social.
Right,
Did not
right.
run into Shawn.
Sure.
I know, that was so sad.
Yep, yep, yep. And that
Tried, Carrie.
yeah,
I
that leads
know.
us to our very special guest for the night, Shawn Waggoner, the host of the Talking Out at Your Glass podcast, and somebody who's been many decades involved in glass art. And I feel like some of you out there already are familiar with this voice and the eloquent way she speaks on what we do and the amazing conversations she's had with people in our industry. But if you're not, Shawn, tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're coming from on this, if you don't mind.
Well, I have a pretty long history in studio glass. I was the editor of a magazine called Glass Art for more than 30 years. And so I've written about just about everybody who's working with glass. And I think in about 2014, I met a Colorado flame worker named Ben Belgrad. And I was just really taken with this young artist. And he kind of introduced me to the pipe scene and showed me all of the different people. He introduced me to banjo, and he was working on a philanthropic project where he was making different cups and donating money to different organizations. And I was so taken with that, not only the talent behind what he was doing, but also the community aspect and just being such a giving, socially conscious community of artists. And that was really interesting to me, that whole combination. So I started pursuing and learning about flame working and the pipe community and treating them the exact same way I treated Lino Tagliapietra or Martin Blank or any other glass artist I've ever interviewed, and tried to expose the rest of the glass community and anyone else who is listening to my podcast to these amazing flame workers and pipe makers. And it just became a passion. And I live in the mountains of Colorado, so I live in a legal state. And so none of those, issues of it being taboo were an issue for me personally or professionally. And the more I learned about things like, the whole, what was that movement that George Bush started? Was that pipe? Um,
Operation.
yeah,
Operation Pipe Dreams, yeah, him and John
yes, pipe
Ashcroft and
dreams.
all them, yeah.
Yes, I mean, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that actually ever really happened and that these artists were persecuted in such a way. And so then it kind of became even more sort of my mission to bring all these artists to the forefront. And it's been a great experience. I've had a lot of top name pipe makers on, Elbow, Banjo, Dan Coyle has been on. I recently had Hoobs. I'm trying to get Ryno to come on. Hey,
Yep.
Ryno.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
If
No
you're
doubt.
out there, come on the show. It's super fun. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I do the same thing. Like I investigate the whole body of their work and their history, and then I try to ask questions that reveal who they are, why they make what they make, and kind of what their position is in the overall art world.
Sure. Sure, yeah. Some of those conversations are just, I mean, all of them, that's like the wrong word, but some of them, I mean, I've really enjoyed, and I was saying before when we were talking before the show, some of these conversations have just been critical when we've had an artist coming on, in terms of getting a little bit of background, and it's just made our conversation with them so much better. So it's like, you've helped us even if you have no idea or never thought about it that way. But yeah, these conversations are important. It's awesome to hear you speak about it that way. I've always tried to do the same thing from the other end. I've always kind of covered pipe making, and that's been my community. But the opportunities that I've had to cover other things, I've always just wanted to position everything kind of side by side, and just kind of get everybody together. And it's just it really, that's what happens at the Glass Art Society conference. So homies, if you aren't familiar out there, the Glass Art Society has been like the oldest kind of nonprofit arts organization, for glass workers.
And collectors, and they just threw their arms open to everybody at the beginning.
Absolutely. And, these conferences, it's like, I mean, sure, homies, we have the DFO, we have all these things, the Mosaic people, they've got SAMA, all these, the bead homies have the ISGB. Everybody has their own gatherings and art things, but the Glass Art Society conference is really where everybody who has their hands on glass gets together. And it's a beautiful social event. The Bead Expo, for example, it's an amazing thing, and not to like put one above another or anything like that. I just want to compare and contrast. The Glass Art Society thing is much more social in nature. There's things almost every night that are oriented towards everybody getting together and talking and kind of mingling, and the Beat Expo does that too, but it's so much more like this big, amazing Sports Authority sized, thing of everything you've ever wanted to put your hands on in glass, and demos over here and this over there.
There's just not enough time.
Yeah, and the Glass Art Society conference, to me, it just stands out as this massive melting pot, and truly, it's there's a million demos and lectures, and we're like, I'm not touching upon what it really is even, but the social aspect of it, in my opinion, it's truly where everybody can get together and take in these experiences, talk about them, and reflect on them at the end of the day. And there's an ending party, there's an opening reception, there were s'mores and just hors d'oeuvres, the charcuterie plate, all the amazing things almost every night that give us the chance to get together and mingle with a completely different crowd. Even just the lobby bar, at the hotel, an amazing mixing pot of folks, boro workers sitting on the couch with some of the most amazing soft glass workers and bead makers and jewelry makers, and everybody's just having an amazing time together.
Your heroes are there, and you're just sitting on the couch with them chatting.
Right. I think that's something, it really is. It's like everybody that you've ever seen in a Corning demo, like they're there. They might be demonstrating. They might just be there like as a civilian. I ran into Boyd Suguki, just random shout out, man. I ran into him on the street. He wasn't demonstrating or anything this year, but we talk about him so much with the build up heat, which really is what informs my silly little dank heat concept, which is a core heat achieved with the concept.
We had a discussion about this privately right after running into Boyd Suguki.
Yeah.
Extensively about this.
You made me famous on some niche pipe making channel? Oh no. Not displayed. It wasn't like that. Anyways, it really is this like amazing melting pot of everybody in the glass world, and then people you never knew, and it's a really special thing. We're going to be watching highlights from everything I filmed at the Flame Tent. This year I had the amazing honor of being Eric Goldschmidt's board assistant. So whenever he needed groceries or beer or whatever it was, man, I was off to the races. But really, my kind of responsibilities fell into helping put my camera on a big screen for the audience there, and then capturing these demos. And I still don't know exactly where everything is going to end up going. It's nothing I need to talk about yet, but we'd like to find some way to make these available to the members of the Glass Art Society. I'm not sure how that will all work out yet, but here is our chance to just look at a few minutes from each demo. Guys, if you're trust me, stick around till the end. Absolutely amazing trick shared by Z. We're gonna see all kinds of cool stuff here, but it like I said, I don't know where everything is gonna land. So this is kind of our opportunity to take a look through my life for days, helping share this the best way possible. And yeah, I'm really excited to do this, and I'm excited to have you guys with us, both y'all out there in the audience, and Carrie and Shawn, who are both, perfect people to talk about this conference. Carrie, because she does like 18 different kinds of glass and is exceptional at many of them. Let's get this party started, you guys. All right.
Yeah.
All right, homies, we're taking just one moment to acknowledge some sponsors who helped me get to all of these events, and then take the time to edit this stuff for you guys. And it's not some big money business or anything. I actually still go into my pocket a bit on these trips, but these companies and events all come together to make it possible to where, like, I'm not pillaging my kids' college fund or whatever to make this documentary work possible. And it's the doors that have opened as a result of the community out there are tremendous, and it would just be a shame to not be able to walk through them, for lack of a little bit of extra fundage. And that's where these companies come in. And these are all people I've had, this is kind of a family thing to me. Everybody involved in these companies and events, they're my friends, and they kind of see this vision of providing a comprehensive coverage to our industry, and working hard to have a fun community around it. So just want to take a moment to shout them out. It means the world that they pitch in and make this whole machine possible. No matter how hard I want to work, it doesn't mean a thing if I can't get there to do it. So homies, we are now in Tacoma, Washington, an incredibly glassy city. We're walking through the glass bridge, which is has this ceiling with all this Chihuly work. His mark is all over the city. A million city halls covered in his stuff, and it's like I had no idea it was such a glassy spot. And so yeah, it was an amazing opportunity to experience a new place and kind of find out why it's incredibly glassy. But we're not here to talk about Tacoma. We're here to watch flame demos. And the first day began with an amazing international collaboration that Eric Goldschmidt put together. And it was one of these things that apparently he'd wanted to do for a minute, and when he had the opportunity to add a shitload of work to his plate, he jumped on it. So, but sincerely, kudos to him, because it was like this random idea that he had, and then once you execute on it, you have to coordinate with people from all over the world. And there were pieces on this collaboration from Asia, from pretty much every continent, except Antarctica.
And there was a girl.
A what?
There was a girl involved as well. That was a big deal for somebody. Some people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Well spread demographic.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think that was. I didn't know there was any issues surrounding that. I think Eric reached out, and it was more about who responded than any. I don't think there were any kind of qualifications, that was.
Yeah, I don't think there were either, but I did see some people commenting on it and making sure that that there was a diverse representation, and because of it's International Year of Glass, right? So.
Sure, yeah. Well, in that case, yeah, there definitely was a woman involved, and
there we go. Representation.
Yeah, no, but I certainly can understand. It's nobody wants to feel excluded, and
exactly.
And certainly I don't think that was the case. But no, really, this was just about nationality, if there were any. superlative. And but the assembly crew here, you guys. So we saw Hoobs doing a bridge seal, and here Ryno's making, he's known for these ducks. So he's making a little tiny ducky to go on there. But really, these guys were like the ace assembly crew. And if you're not familiar, they've, Hoobs specifically has been doing like the Molten Art Classic, and just his own work in general. The scale of it is like through the roof, and it all really involves like a construction mindset. He's building like cars, for example, with an outer frame that fit over an inner frame, and it requires this, like I said, like a construction mindset, more so than most of this stuff. And with the Molten Art Classic, they're doing absolutely insane scale collaborations with a rollout kiln that you can kind of pull the whole thing out at once on a giant shelf, and then just kind of wheel it back into the kiln after stuff's been attached. I mean, if there were anybody you would want to assemble a really cool piece, it would be these guys. And they actually stopped by on their way to the DFO, where they ended up winning. Congratulations to the dogs we're watching right now. Yeah, their piece, it was this incredible half pipe with the duck characters on it skating, and the construction aspect of it again, Hoobs, making this whole half pipe structure for these characters to have fun on. It was just an incredibly expressive piece. And yeah, they were showing it to us when we asked what was up, and it was like, oh man, we got a real contender here. But yeah, so many cool little tricks in this duck demo, man. The homie, he rounded that out in the marble mold, like super fast to get that shape that he's looking for without, any futzing around. Adding that bill and giving it a little bit of tooling with the tweezers. And now he's just gathering a bit more on it for the body of the duck. And he makes terp pearls with these. He makes the ones that go inside the cylinder, what all you crazy dad kids know about. I don't know. I'm still over here smoking on titanium or something. I'm just playing. We use quartz, but you guys out there know more about this than me. But yeah, these are like miniature ducks, and he added them as like an accent to the international collab. But I think their real role there was, just like the crack assembly team. They took the like wig rags that somebody sent from South Africa and kind of assembled it into a tube that like this cloud from another person went into. The whole thing was absolutely amazing. And
it's like We Are the World of Glass.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. Totally right. Yeah, we gotta have a Pepsi
quite a
after this or whatever.
Too,
yeah,
to carry the whole tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta share a Coke after this or something.
In the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Yeah, Carrie's always bringing in the random references, but yeah, we're not gonna even touch that one because
not tonight, no.
Yeah, not tonight. Not tonight, Carrie.
You gotta know to know.
So yeah, the little ducky's yeah. But this little ducky is getting his tail, and he's gonna get little wings. And I know it's not the craziest Ryno demo, but at the same token, this is what he's really known for. I mean, and it's so cool to get to see him do it. We got the rig demo at Glass Vegas. I mean, now we get the tiny sculpture version. It's so nice of this guy to let me constantly cram a camera in his face. And yeah, really, really cool cat. And there's Gas in the corner. Somebody I'm honored to have this relationship with. We did an official broadcast for them in 2017. And since then, that was really one of the motivations for me to kind of, get a nice camera and get up to speed with this documentary thing. We were doing a fun little webcam show and all that. And it was really the community that grew around, these shows that we were doing that kind of put me in the position to do that in the first place. And in the meantime, a number of events, like Glass Vegas and Melt had opened their arms to us and kind of gave me the opportunity to get some sea legs. And by the time we actually did that broadcast, I was pretty proud of the footage we were able to get. And then since then, the Glass Art Society has really been very kind to me and kind of let me do my thing at these conferences, as long as the artist was down. They were down for us to film and document this process and share it on my channel. And this year, the opportunity to kind of step behind the curtain or whatever as a board assistant and meet so many of the people involved, it was really great. And it's this organization, and they're not like opaque, but at the same token, it's like these are some people I've been emailing with, over the years, and you don't see them so often. And any nonprofit organization, there's always a bit of turnover. Folks, they work there for a bit and then they move on to something different. And so yeah, it was just really great to get to meet all of the board members and like my fellow assistants. Here I time-lapsed that thing cooling down. This is a funny shot cool to me. Yeah, where it goes all red. That's like Carrie after she finally gets a meal. Okay. All right, let's get serious here. Okay, so Jill Allen, you guys, her demo was kind of all about hollow beads. And she demonstrated all different kinds, but I thought this moment was really cool. She had this tile. I believe she'd fused it first, and maybe some kind of mold so it's in this nice shape.
Looks like a pattern bar.
Yep, and then she's tacking it down to this mandrel. And she's basically going to turn it into a hollow tube that is, perfect tubing section. This mandrel work, yeah, this mandrel work, it's almost like a typical roll-up where they have like a moil on the end almost, like a section of glass, and then they tag the end of the canes and roll it up, and then they have to tweeze it together the same way. This is like the much smaller scale bead type version of this. But at the same token, all of these mandrels and all of this, the bead release, all of it can be used with borosilicate. So this is just, this is being demonstrated with soft glass, but I think this is perfectly applicable. The tweezing, that's just how Crunk brings together each row of chips as he adds it, for example. It's just glass, my dogs. So, not that I have to quantify any of this by saying it can be done in borosilicate. We could totally just celebrate stuff like this as, like, oh man, sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. But in this case, I really do think this is applicable for borosilicate. ABR shout-outs to the dogs there. Ross was out manning the booth in the tech area or whatever. And they left a ton of mandrels and bead release down at the stage, which I totally took when we were closing down. So expect some borosilicate bead demos from me.
I do now.
Yeah, but look at this, man. She's got that. She tweezed that thing together, and it's just a matter of heating and rolling. It almost reminds me of when we rolled tubing in the Elmarver, and it's just kind of we hit it from the inside and then roll it in the Elmarver, and you end up with this really true glass. Similar thing, the mandrel's keeping it tight on the inside, the paddle's getting on the outside, and with the right heat, the glass just is going to want to distribute out evenly. Kind of vibe. Now here's the homie, Rashaan Jones. If you're not familiar with this guy, get familiar. He's been an awesome member of our community for years. Somebody I was lucky to meet pretty early in my glass career. Here he's making a foot, you guys. He's a cup maker. And he's got a pretty strong pedigree. He's the student of Roger Paramore and other strong homies. And but his style is branched out in its own a bit. He's got a method here where he kind of hot pops it after letting the foot shape seal. And I think some of you guys might like to see this. It's like one of those things where, you know, if you've watched 5 people do it, you can kind of pick and choose your moves with like what works best for you. So this is one of those ones where it's like, man, the homie really knows what he's doing, and he's kind of pushed it into his own little path here, specifically with how he opens the foot and prepares it to flare. So that's what we're gonna see. And man, and Rashaan is a really fun guy. He was just having a blast talking to this crowd the whole time, and he had a fan section. Let's put it that way. It was a lot of folks in the crowd who knew him, had learned with him, or under him, and he was just having a great time. So this is, you know, some of the demos are very clinical. You know, like they're there to talk through their presentation and demo. You know, and they're not really. They'll take questions. Whereas Rashaan was just kind of having a party with the audience, which I wouldn't expect any less. But at the same token, you know, when you only see a guy once every 3 years, it's almost easy to forget like just how warm he is. You know? I hope that doesn't come off weird. It's just like, oh man, I really did forget like how my man is constantly clowning and just constantly making everybody smile. And he's one of those people I really respect and look up to, you know, and you almost lean on the more serious side when you think of them. But that's probably for the best. So yeah, adding this connecting glass for where the foot will then connect to the stem later. And kind of cooking that in, allowing that to fall to center. I'm not going to try and talk through the homie's process too much. But at the same token, I've kind of learned with the same people and all that, so. Well, Rashaan's, man, I mean, he's doing a really amazing work in the Albuquerque area. He had one studio that he managed, and then now he's running like an art center that is more public oriented. And it'd be great to have him with us again in the near future and kind of talk about that. We filmed a really fun demo when I found him at like the Carlisle booth making cups at the Beat Expo one year. And we had him with us, and that was a great chance to catch up and talk. But yeah, he's a really fun guy. It'd be really nice to have him with us again. And then, guys, take a moment to notice he is using the Nortel Hydra, the torch of many knobs. Although
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe that he has I think it's even trimmed down a bit from the one he has, but it really is an amazing torch that allows you to kind of mix a surface and premix flame and achieve all kinds of combinations, and it's a hot torch. The premix really hits hot, and then you can boost it, you know, with that surface mix, and it's almost like an alternate form of triple mix where you're adding like a higher velocity in, and mixing those velocities really makes for a super efficient combustion and can really help drill that heat in. And here's what I was mentioning, where he closes it down fully. And it's a really cool move. It's like, oh wait, what? You really got to got to know how to manage your heats here and move quickly, and know exactly when that glass is actually going to want to suck in because it's fully closed. He's keeping the heat and timing such that it didn't have a chance to do that. And like the back pressure allowed him to open it really cleanly. I mean, it probably took him 50 tries to get that so clean, or maybe 10, I don't know. He's a talented dude. But when you get that move down of that hot pop, it really does leave this clean opening. And it sets it up to really cook back evenly, which results in a clean foot. Because centripetal force is involved here. He's, kind of twisting it open as he's reaming it. And if your heat's not even, then the glass is going to want to move around unevenly. And then before you know it, the foot's all off and wonky. So this really shows how he went from that, an even squat bubble to the hot pop to cooking that lip back in really evenly such that he was able to really make this clean, flat disc. I mean, he's over here chatting, having a party while he's doing it too. And again, that's all predicated on the glass not having gotten uneven in terms of the weight. Because once you do that, it's like, it's almost impossible to get it back and keep it even, The best you can do is kind of fake the funk. All right, Cecilia Garland, you guys. Here's somebody I bet nobody in the audience is familiar with, except, out of my, some of y'all gas homies are probably like, what? But my audience I had no idea. So, but you guys, Cecilia does really, Celia, not Cecilia, adding in extra syllables. She does amazing work with fully recycled glass. And here she's showing how she cuts this glass, and she was talking about how the inside score works a lot better than the outside score. She had a necklace on the bench that was like a whole wine bottle made into all various types of beads. What's that?
Doesn't she work on a cruise ship? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. She leads a pretty interesting life, dogs. She basically lives on a cruise ship and gives presentations to the cruise people about sustainability and, all essentially green environmental topics. And she kind of walks the walk, though. A lot of people talk about this stuff and don't really do anything, other than drop their recycling off at the center or whatever, whereas she here is really, all of her work is made with this recycled glass. And she does really intricate bead type forms with the recycled glass and adorns beer bottles and wine bottles, and it's really neat work. And yeah, the talk she gave was fascinating. I hope that can be shared someday. It might be something that goes to the gas members. Like I said, I don't really know where this is all going to land yet. I wanted to give these people a chance to get their breath after working so hard to put on an amazing event. Mm-hmm. And then we'll talk about exactly where all of these demos are going to go. But we wanted to definitely just share some highlights and let y'all know what an amazing and diverse, lineup this flame area had, and, have a little party with it.
I would love to hear this one too, because she looks very engaging.
Oh yeah, well actually, homies, speaking of engaging, she's actually giving a class at Corning about speaking. Not even about glass work. She's actually giving a presentation about giving presentations. She's incredibly well spoken, and she kind of knows all the tricks, she was one thing I'll share with you guys I thought was pretty good. Here she's loading up this recycled glass onto a bead, and she's going to make it into a leaf that's on a wire. And if you guys want to think about metal and glass together, trust me, wait until the end. I'm not even going to spoil it. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah,
just
you can't
wait another
go away.
30 minutes or whatever. But anyways, what were we talking about, Karen?
I was hanging on, it was metal glass. She's doing something, and then, Shawn, do you remember? I was waiting to hear it.
I kind of lost it.
She's teaching.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She had a great saying at the end. She was like, she was like, if you end on a rhyme, they'll know it's time, or some shit like that. And I was like, oh man, dude, she's so good. It's so true. And just little stuff like that. I mean, it's silly, but this woman has given thousands of presentations to all kinds of audiences about glass and about this ecology thing. And I'm not kidding. She was incredibly well spoken and engaging. She really was. And like I said, I mean, she's like teaching the class on giving presentations and speaking about your work. So, yeah, if you happen to be in Corning or this is something you want to do, it's incredibly important to be able to speak about your work. So, I think that'll be a very valuable thing. But anyways, yeah, this demo is super cool, and she does essentially every type of bead making. She's made a fully hollow bead with it, like this fully recycled glass. And the talk she gave, it was really fascinating, and it's like I said, man, it's a lot easier to take this stuff in from somebody who really engages with it, and kind of like I said, man, walks the walk. It's easy to pay lip service to these things, but are you actually finding some way to push that forward in your life?
Except for the electric torch, Stevie G points out.
Yeah. Kit Paulson, you guys, she is an amazing flame worker. She does like network stuff that's absolutely incredible. This was actually one of these like LECMOs where they're giving a presentation as well, like as a flame demo, and their talk, was about small scale glass working, and it was fascinating. And here she was just doing a little demo with a Smith torch, which I thought you guys might like, and she was just shaping out petals, and then she bridged them up into a little flower, just to kind of demonstrate these, like, just how small a setup you can do some really engaging stuff with larger scale things, by bridging them together. Another really cool bridging demo coming up, but she's an expert with this stuff. And the stuff that she makes, like masks and all amazing intricate forms, like this is the simplest interpretation of her work, because she's just kind of trying to, like I said, supplement a lecture about her journey in small scale flame working. And
I have an adorable little heart from her, like teeny tiny.
She was sharing Tyler Gordon, an old friend from Norfolk, man. His Scoofa was like the self-contained flame working, something like that. But basically, it's like a backpack mounted hand torch thing that he's got, so he can just walk around anywhere with like a Smith torch running.
Right.
Yeah, and he, just be sitting in front of a fountain in some public square doing demos, that sort of thing. And
I think I saw him up at the gas conference in Corning.
That, I'm sure, makes all the sense. He was wearing it
at one of the gallery openings.
And here's some bridging, you guys. Really small scale bridging, like if you're doing like a big rig or a 2-piece Sherlock, or you're like sealing a neck to a can or this or that, like a bridge like this is disastrous. It'll flex when your heavy parts are, but like for small scale work, the way she's setting up these bridges, very ideal. Uses almost as little glass as possible. You're not worried about the weight, and it's a kind of a different approach. Jesse Blackmar was who she had kind of did the presentation with, so they were kind of tag team demoing here. Her work is small scale, large scale, like, but she often builds it up into these larger things. And one of these pieces she uses like baby mice. It's a whole metaphorical thing that I'm not prepared to discuss with you guys. You got to talk to Jesse. But I really thought this was neat process stuff, because what you're about to see, she's got these blanks of color that she pre-prepared. She's adding a little bit of powder frit to it just to add some extra saturation. And then what you can see there off to the right is like a mold that she made. And she kind of like carved in the shape on both sides of this two pieces of graphite, and then like there's just like a basic hinge, any type of hinge that you get at the hardware store, and it folds together and smashes into the basics of the baby mouse shape. And she combines a ton of these baby mice into these like bowls surrounded by them and all that. So it's like I said, there's a whole meaning to it and all that's really neat, but that's for the artist to talk about. But this idea of making your own press mold, very cool. Like, all you need to do is get some scrap graphite and you can go to town. I'm tempted to do it for pupils for my own work, actually. I was talking about in one of the recent demos, like, I'd almost like to send off blocks of the glass to be water jet cut into the pupil shapes that I like. This would be another way where I could really kind of just rough the shape out, and almost even cut off the excess and just keep smashing it. But I thought this was really neat. Her demo, both of them did really cool stuff, and the talk was fascinating. But here I just, it's a thing where like I'm torn between sharing the coolest of highlights, but also not wanting to spoil the demos. And I feel like I've done a good job of kind of balancing those two desires. But this moment was one I thought you guys would really dig. And these mold things, we were talking about it previously, like Cha is a great example. Absolutely amazing sculptor. He does not need to use a mold to do anything. But at the same token, he makes a lot of similar creatures. And he's made graphite press molds that do the whole basics of the shape. And that kind of allows him to spend more of his time doing the magical thing that he does, which is this sculpting. Like it's like a Martin Janicki, there's all these sculptors who are just so good at making glass tickle the brain and read like exactly what it is they're supposed to read like. And but there's like no shame in using a mold or something to kind of accelerate that process. And I thought that was a really neat example of one fully handmade, that allows her to get that very starting shape, and then she pulls out like the arms and all that shit. Emily, really, she was kind of a local favorite or whatever. I don't know, hometown hero. She was part of this Hilltop Arts program out there that's like a school for young people. And like they'll go to high school, and then after they'll go to this arts program and learn how to do glass arts. And some of them stick with it, some of them it's just an extracurricular thing, but it's actually produced a lot of amazing glass workers, and really neat program out there in the area. It's and so she had been part of that, and I now believe she does education at the Museum of Glass in Tacoma. And her work right now, the series she's doing is called An Apple a Day. And it's one of these things where I don't want to speak for the artist, but she basically, she described it as kind of a mental health thing, whereas making one of these apple beads a day was good for her mental health. And like I said, there was much more to it, and some of it, more on the personal side. So I don't want to paraphrase too much when, it really means something to somebody. But that was the gist of it, was that she makes these glass apples, and it's kind of a thing to advocate for mental health. This is like a hollow bead technique where, this is like a hollow mandrel, and I believe you can blow into the piece through it. I've actually seen this same technique done without any blowing into it. It just cooks back naturally. I don't know, man. There's like stuff soft glass people do that's wizardry to me. In this case, though, she built these two walls and then joined them. It's almost like a coil pot, like in two stages, that gets brought together. And then by heating it and letting it cook in, you end up with this hollow bead. And then she made it into an apple. And but I thought you guys would like to see this method of these wall. Some of y'all out there maybe do beads, and you're like, okay. And some of y'all who don't, it's like a whole new thing. And again, all of these mandrel techniques, like, they could totally be done with borosilicate. So, and plenty of them do. Like Lewis Wilson does boro stuff on mandrels, as I recall. It's It's not unheard of remotely. It was fun times filming in here. It was so bright on the outside and the tent was so shaded that you had to put everybody into like Jesus mode or whatever, you know. They practically got a halo around their head because it's so bright around them. But yeah, check that out. It's like a gorgeous hollow bead. And she did some additional work there to make it look like an apple. But I thought I'd share one more little step here where she kind of shaped a leaf out on it live. Stevie in the chat. Man, the homies in the chat are having a great discussion. And I'm just doing my best to kind of talk through these things. So I wish I could engage in that more. But the homie is mentioning that Dead Tour ending was a significant thing contributing to the birth of the glass pipe business. It's a very interesting topic. We need Slinger on for this. Whatever. But yeah, I think that scene and the diversification of jam bands, you know, like, and creating kind of more shakedown streets, maybe, or whatever. I don't know. There we go, a little like live mashing right off the piece. Really cute. How about that color too, man? Oh my God, some of the colors in the other COE, you know, it's enough to make a man jealous. So, guys, Chris Hurley, if you've ever seen like the recent Troutman glass poster with all the goblets, that's him. So we're talking about an expert cup maker. And it was so hard to choose what to share here because earlier he had done a amazing chip stack section and then coil potted off of the chip stack to make the section for this foot. But we got to save something for the demo, so that'll come later. But here he is now shaped out kind of the essential starting shape for his feet that have like this tapered neck going into the middle. And what we saw was after he'd kind of opened up the bottom and he then striped, you know, kind of run that stringer around it for a lip wrap. So now we're just going to see like a really, really clean, awesome lip wrapped foot. So yeah, a couple of feet demo for you guys tonight, both done very different ways. And I got to say, this, you know, the way Chris does it, I mean, he just kind of stays in the paint is the way I would describe it. You know, honestly, when I do this kind of thing, you know, I'm trying to get that done with as fast as possible before I shift material around. Because like I was saying earlier, once material shifts around, you know, your ability to use centripetal force, that's out the window, and there's just almost no way you're going to get a clean foot. Whereas Chris is clearly extremely confident, you know, in his movements and in heating and rotating evenly. And he is opening this shape very much more slowly, much with a high degree of control. He started opening the hole with jacks, and then now he has switched to what's called parchophy, which are basically graphite jacks. So he started opening it with like a slim metal, and now he's using these kind of heavier graphite jacks to get in there, which allow him to work much closer and in the flame. And, you know, this is almost like watching it in slow motion. You know, there's all these methodologies for making, you know, a foot. And he's really opening it to this almost perfectly cylindrical opening. Whereas if you want like this super flat foot, what he wants to do is, I mean, he's got the specific shape that he aims for. You can see it in the poster, firstly, but more importantly is that he's not going for that like ultra flat plate foot like we saw Rashaan do earlier. They have totally different aims here. And he has this milli-stack section right above. It's hard to see right now because it's all so hot, but if you look inside, you can actually see the transition and Like where it looks rough, that's where the milli details are. It's not like it's a super clean seal. It's just you're seeing the milli details, so it looks like a little rough in there. He wants that to not get flattened out, so that it can still be kind of featured in the foot. So he's aiming for this more squat foot shape. So he's opening it to this cylinder, and then he's just going to flare like 2/3 of the cylinder, as opposed to making this squat bubble shape where most of it's already flattened on the top. And then you're just like winging the rest of it out, if that makes sense. So these are two ultra different approaches with two, very different aims. But I mean, just look at how long the homie is staying in the paint with this thing. Very hot. It's just a testament to like skill and control. And Chris is like just as nice as he is good with glass. Really, really sweet dude. Like, he's one of the kindest and the sweetest people I've met in this thing. His wife is really nice. It's always awesome to meet her, or to run into her since we've met. And then I had the opportunity to meet more of his like wider family, his daughter and in-laws, and it was really nice. It's a pleasure to meet people like this who are just really sweet and really engaged in their family and genuine. Chris is all those things, man. Like 10 out of 10, dude. So.
Yes, he is.
But yeah,
His piece was gorgeous.
Yeah, a really amazing cup. I cut in a clip of it at the very end. But yeah, just a really, really, really awesome guy in our industry. And if you're not familiar, guys, I mean, we featured him before when he was part of a team at the ASGS conference here in Colorado Springs, where I live. And that was a really amazing event where they paired scientific workers with flame workers or pipe makers in teams, and they had a really great flame off where a ton of people came out. It was a really special party, honestly. And I think did Chris not win that with the little creature that they had with the backpack thing? And
I think he did.
Yeah, I think they won. They won my heart regardless. So. No, I do think they won, but Chris is somebody who actually kind of works in both worlds. He's a scientific glass worker as well as like a pipe maker and a cup maker, and just like a super, super talented glass worker. If you guys have a sharp eye, when I'm on the camera, if you'll notice above my bed is a signed poster of his goblets, the tag poster. So, yeah. Every night before I go to sleep, I'm like, good night, Chris.
That was from the gas conference in Morano. That poster. Yeah. Good night, Chris. Good night, Moon.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But at the same token, man, if I have you up on my wall, I really do think highly of these artists who are on the wall. Next to it, I've got a bunch of the Stoked posters in like a 4-square kind of record frame thing. And that's Hickory, Piper Dan, the Melt Meetup, and Crunk. All people who are really nice and have a role in my life or whatever, man. Shout outs to Dan, really great guy. We filmed him at the Gas Conference in 2017. I think that was when we met. It's actually a great kind of throwback to what I was talking about, how the opportunity to do the broadcast for them because, they wanted to reach out to our community. That's why I do what I do. Like, that's why everything on this channel exists. We might have just kept doing a silly little webcam show. I don't know. But like, the opportunity to be involved in that conference when they had kind of stacked the lineup with pipe makers, and that they, saw the validity in our community and wanted to reach out. I mean, that all came together, and it really changed my life. So I can't say enough about like what a special place in my heart the Glass Art Society has. And, you know, so especially these artists that I've had these relationships with since then, you know, it's no different than what I was talking about before, you know, where it's this opportunity to meet these people that maybe you've only seen in demos or you've just been respecting their work for years, but sure enough, there you are, you know, raiding the cheese plate next to them or whatever, and you get to talk kind of thing. It's really special. Davis, a member of our community, is as well here, and gave a really interesting talk. And you know, I'm probably not the best person to paraphrase it as like a straight dude or whatever, but his talk was kind of about queering glass and kind of the queer perspective. This is his word, not mine. I'm not like, you know, whatever. But it was actually a really fascinating talk. One of the slides is in here a little later, but he was kind of putting up this proposition or this notion that, you know, glass is a queer material. And like I said, I'm not maybe the best person to, you know, pontificate on that, but I thought it was really fascinating, and I mean, I thought of it in my own perspective or whatever, and I'm like, well, glass damn sure ain't straight, you know, whatever kind of thing, for a lot of reasons. I thought it was a really interesting talk, you know, and when I think of that term, you know, I maybe think of, you know, thinking outside of the box or being true to yourself, and, you know, the glass is all of these things to me as well, so, Stevie in the chat, reported. Yeah. Yeah, so... Anyways, no, but it was an interesting talk, and it made me think, and also though it was coupled with his work doing networking and what he calls queer objects, and like I said, there's his definition of them, and you know, I thought it was fascinating and really neat to hear somebody's perspective, you know, coming at it from a different place than me. And it's just another one of these ways where the gas conference is kind of an opportunity. It's cool of them to, you know, give them a platform to discuss this issue. And I'm out here misgendering and shit. My bad. Said it's tough.
Glass is transformative. Everybody's perspective is going to make it transformative in a different way.
Yeah. But their networking work here too, really cool. So what I was trying to share with that was how they build this out live, kind of from this structure, and it's very free form, and they're making just these connections very quickly. But then I shared at the end, the clip there at the end was them going back in and using the CC and the hand torch to kind of in synergy to make the seals really nice. All right, and here it is, you guys. Here's Z. This is what I was talking about before. Kim Thomas. Her work is completely amazing and distinctive. And here she was showing how to seal metal to borosilicate. She was explaining that steel has the same coefficient as glass in terms of like it expands about as much as glass and cools as much. And there's all these ways that scientific glass workers might approach this and all the technical details of making a glass to metal seal. But Kim has kind of figured out that you can be a bit more cavalier about it and literally just seal it on as if it's a piece of glass, just being a little more careful because the steel will melt before the glass. So, I don't want to spoil her demo. She made a mailbox, a sculptural mailbox, like a hollow sculpted one, and all kinds of cool tricks. But here she makes these larger rods that have certain textures to them that represent various elements: wood, water, fire, things like that. And she pulled a section of it out to make a wooden post for the mailbox. And now she's going to seal the steel nail to it so the mailbox looks like so the post looks like it has a nail in it.
Mike, Kim was recently on Talking Out Your Glass
Nice.
podcast. Yeah, and it was really interesting to hear her describe her work and talk about it because her pipes are really cool, but she also does these amazing sculptural pieces, and they look like little miniature antiques that have been aged by weather and time. And I'm not exactly sure how she gets all that cool old looking texture and color on her work, but it's truly amazing.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of this demo was her talking about how she achieves that aesthetic, and a lot of it is utilizing frits. And even here, we can see she's actually adding frit over the seal that was made between the metal and the glass. And she was mentioning certain colors that she uses. I don't want to like spoil the whole demo or, get into stuff that like she's teaching, but
Oh yeah, she's teaching coming up in Pittsburgh, right?
oh yeah, but she was utilizing some of the exotics, like green exotic frit, for example, um, and yeah, using these colors in concert to achieve these looks that really have this weathered appearance. And I mean, her work, you can, be it a pipe, be it a miniature chair, whatever it is, they all have this Z look to them. And yeah, she discussed quite a bit of how she achieves that look, and she kind of did it to the mailbox, and how she achieves metallic lusters and things like that. But yeah, yeah, it's like I said, it was such a tough decision when I was looking through this footage, like what do I share, and what would be the best thing. And her demo was very much about how to achieve that aesthetic, and I didn't want to spoil that, but that little trick with the nail was something that I really thought my audience would like to see. And homies, if you enjoyed this stuff, please join us at the gas conference. This is an amazing time. It moves around the world and the country. I'm not supposed to talk about any of this. I don't even think the final things have been signed, but if Tacoma was too far, you might be happier with the next one. I'm not certain yet. That's all I gotta say. Whatever. I can't say any more than that. But sincerely, you guys, if you were to just be at this flame tent, checking out the things you thought were interesting, there's a million other things to do and learn. And then it's an amazing social experience that they just set up opportunities at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Every day there's something where you're going to end up sitting down with somebody you either admire or admire because you just met them, and then find out that they do something really special. It's a really, really, really amazing time. This Tacoma conference was no different. It was so cool getting to kind of delve into a new glassy city that, like, I didn't really realize that. Like, I thought some of the Chihuly stuff was kind of more, further up or whatever, like around the schools and things like that. But it turns out that he's like all over Tacoma. It's this beautiful kind of city by the sea sort of thing, like a port city. The flame demos were right there by the docks. And I should have shared more shots of that, but my mission in life was to capture these demos as best as I possibly could, and hopefully give you guys a little taste of what a magical time this is. Like I said, it's great. It's almost like Pipe Classic in a way, whereas Pipe Classic is this amazing competition, and it's like all glass during the day. And then every night, though, there's like coordinated parties for everybody to get together, be it the competitors, be it the people who bought passes, be it, the local collectors, and it's just, and it cultivates like social scenes where people get the chance to meet and interact. And I could just think of so many fun things, man. I mean, silly moments, man. The homie Connor probably won't like me mentioning this, but why, just laughing, remembering his time outside of like a cidery and hemp farm where they had one of the Pipe Classic parties, and the homie Pyroscopic, one of the best photographers in the game, he spilled a beer on my foot or something, and I'm just laughing remembering this because it's like, yeah, we were like, motherfucker at the time, but nobody took it hard at the time. But it's just making me laugh. Like I'd give anything for that man to spill a beer on my foot right now, because it's such a beautiful thing to be there with your friends or whatever. He's gonna take that seriously. Sorry, people are gonna start pouring beers on me now. But seriously, it's honestly, dogs, it's the gas conference is a really beautiful thing, and the organization is they've just been nothing but awesome to me, and they've had an outsized role in my life. I'll put it to you that way. And it was a real honor to kind of be able to pay that back this year by working hard. I mean, I pretty much just did what I would have done anyways, but this year we really made sure everything was covered, and we were able to put it on a big screen for the audience and give them a great view. And then we're going to take this stuff, and like I said, I don't know where what's going to land, but we're going to do something special for the Glass Art Society members with it. That's for sure. Let me take just one moment to thank the panel who joined me tonight. Shawn, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I feel like we could have a whole episode talking to you and about your path in this glassy world of ours. But it was really great to have you tonight to talk, to have a little bit of extra flavor for this conference.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I wish I'd run into you at one of those kind of things where we were, would have been more social. I saw you.
I loved seeing this, Mike, because as you know, there's like 10 things going on simultaneously. And I missed some of the demos that you showed today. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, it's my honor to share this stuff. And yeah, it's just like that, right? Like it is. It's one of those things where there's no winning. All you can do is kind of, I mean, it sounds wrong,
it's all
but
winning.
Yeah, it's all winning, but like you can't,
bit of loss, though.
Yeah, you can't get it all. You're going to have to choose your L's or whatever, because, there's always, like, guys, like, let me pull up like a picture of the schedule thing. Let me see if I can pull that up. I had it up earlier. And, man, here, just to give you a very brief concept of what this is like. This is, like, kind of the view. And this covers 3 days of, like, massive action with, like, a opening day. Where there's like a conference kickoff thing where everybody's getting together, and then all of this stuff is going on at once at any given time. 2, 3, all of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was going on earlier. 6, 7.
Yeah.
There's like 7 people overlap. Demonstrating at a time.
If you get to the right spot, you can, maybe you camp out for a little bit for a couple demos. I caught one that I was totally surprised at the hot shop. So
right.
That was really great. And the conference kickoff was the De La Torres brothers blowing glass.
Yeah. The conference kickoff was amazing. Yeah. Yeah. They had the board members and board assistants up on this thing. We were just overlooking the crowd like it was like some kind of Roman thing. Yeah, yes. I was like, Eric, you got to give him like at some point, just for kicks. But he's too humble for all that. But no, anyways, I mean, seriously, guys, this is just an absolutely a smorgasbord of glass or whatever. And sincerely, dogs, like, come out for this if you get the opportunity. It's a really special event. The Glass Art Society is just a very cool organization, and they really put something on that is magical for people like us. Like, I mean, you're spending your Tuesday nights, watching like a fun show. If you're with us here, then your heart beats for this. Like, you simply have to consider coming to this if you've not done it before. I can't be more. I cannot push harder on this.
It's great for networking. It's great for meeting your peers. It's great for learning like techniques that aren't just Boro based. Like, you might have your favorite technique or whatever, but it's so inspirational because every lecture demo that you end up going to, even if it wasn't your first choice, you still walk away feeling inspired and getting something that you feel like you could incorporate into your work somehow.
Yeah, really it was. Guys, I tell you, we do have some additional content Shawn, if you have to get on with your evening, no worries. But Carrie actually filmed like a number of things, and I wanted to share some of that with you guys if you're interested. This stuff is Carrie's gonna kind of have to narrate it a little bit more. So
Pull out my cheat sheet for you.
yeah, let me just drop into this folder. We've got some really cool stuff. Here's I'll put up the desktop here. Whoa, sorry guys.
That was a good video though.
Yeah, that was the one we shared in the beginning. Here we go. So this is the next part of the glass bridge, you guys. And it's just like windows with really cool work.
And these are not small.
Oh, no, these are freaking diesel. This looks like a curio shelf or something, but it's like a thing where like you walk by it and that pear looking one is like taller than me. I'm not the tallest dude, but you know, it's it don't take much glass.
6 foot.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's all these really cool things. Carrie, tell us what's going on here. Oh, like these cups are molded in like ceramic molds that this dude is making or printing. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so these guys, this is Brandon Callahan and Firak Swan. So they've been working on developing a compatible ceramic that you can blow into, which is what they're doing now. So they've 3D printed this. And it's fire clay, I think, is the stuff maybe that they use on the outside, which isn't there like it's been around. I think, Mike, you said there were some people in Boro that have done something similar, and somebody else mentioned it being used in another way as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Clockwork Feathers, I believe. Let me pull them up because I shared this in Torch Talk, and I know like people. This dude was like, "What's going on? Why is my Instagram like tripled in a day?" And like we gave him like the Oprah effect or whatever. This dude,
he says this works every time about 80% of the time.
Okay, gotcha. Yo, this dude, Clockwork Feathers, you guys. He's doing all kinds of stuff, and like the further you go back, like there's like borosilicate compatible ceramics on here. We're totally stepping away from the gas thing, but just give me 1 second. This is damn near gas approved or whatever. This dude, this guy, like, he's a fascinating individual. He does all sorts of cool stuff. Like here he is making glass torches, like Steve Bates style. I'm gonna find this borosilicate compatible ceramic. But yeah, he's like printing these ceramics, I believe. Yeah, these are 3D printed ceramics. So this is glass cast into the ceramic. Homie out of Penland. All right, hold on. We're gonna find this stuff I'm looking for.
Okay, you said clock feathers, right?
Yeah, I'll show him up again in a second. Look, this dude's work is like really cool. Here's some ceramic and glass. Here's more.
Sounds like this guy should hook up with Brandon Callahan.
I know, they really should. Yeah, there's a bunch of these experiments where he's casting it into glass. And then there's one picture I really like. We're almost there, I swear. I swear. Yeah, but you guys should really check this dude's stuff out if you're not familiar. Alright, we're almost there. I've done this to other people before too, and just been like, in another 5 minutes, it's gonna be.
Don't worry, we're almost there. So I also linked you guys to Brandon Callahan's Instagram page. So there's some actually really, really awesome pictures on here of some of these vessels that where he's blowing into the ceramic.
Look at this.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Huh.
borosilicate compatible ceramic dogs, the future. All right, anyways, so let's see what's up with these guys. So they can just heat that thing up. It doesn't blow out
So
though, does it? It's
th-
just a mold for
they
it to.
right, it's not going to blow out because it's been fired. It's like kind of a bisque fire, I think they did, and then he has to heat it really slowly and softly with that flame to get the rest of the moisture out and get it up to heat slowly. And then once it's up to heat, then it's ready. And then the other one is the stuff they've been developing is the stuff that gets encased, and there are some really deep encasements.
Oh shit. Okay, all right, here we go. Here we
Yeah,
go.
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, all right. Check this out, dogs. This episode about to go platinum.
Yep, this is the one.
Yeah. Holy shit. And you can
Yeah.
just pick it up with the glob of glass, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Damn, Carrie. Good footage.
Right? Thank you.
So my dogs, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like you can hang out at the Flame demo and learn amazing things, or you can go watch demos elsewhere. Yo, there was actually I gotta give the Glass Art Society a shout out for this one. I one moment I'm out at the Flame tent, and I look over at the big screens that they had outside, and I see like bongs, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? That's what we do out here. And sure enough, they had Jeff Ballard, I believe he goes by, Soft Serve Glass, and he makes like amazing rigs with soft glass techniques, and not like grommet ones or anything like that. Like these things look clean as hell and have joints and everything. And that was going on inside the hot shop here. Maybe not this one, but is this the one? No, this isn't.
No, this one's a different one. That was
Okay,
going on in the
gotcha.
Museum of
Yeah, that was
Glass.
going on
That
at the
was
big
in
main
the Museum
stage.
of Glass. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was pretty awesome to see. I look over and all of a sudden it's freaking bongs on the screen. Looked like they were calling you in, Carrie. What's going on?
I know, right? I can't, guys. I'm filming.
Sorry, guys. Well, that's pretty amazing. So they just encased this whole thing in glass?
Yep. And he's vacuuming it down too.
It's got a vacuum, or is he just rolling it down with his hands? It looks like he's just pushing it down.
Yeah, I think so. I thought they said that there was going to be a vacuum or something, but nope.
Okay.
Okay. Because I hadn't seen one. I was like, really?
Well, that's even crazier.
Right?
Maybe once it's fully closed down, then they can hit the vacuum and it will get any remaining lines
There you
coming
go.
from the punny, if that makes
yeah. That sounds right. So I was filming this and wondering, like, what is that? It looks like, that's a brain? It was a brain.
Okay.
So they encased a brain.
That's
But I
pretty
got
wild.
Yeah, so they were talking about other things too, like 3D printing glass with some machines. I think that they get done in New Zealand, I want to say.
All right.
So they had some 3D printed stuff there. I don't know if they demoed it or just talked about that, but yeah, this was really fascinating. I thought this was a really fascinating demo.
Yeah. Well, I never
And of
saw
course,
a
again,
vacuum,
very
but
engaging.
he's definitely
Yeah,
not blowing it out, so he must be sucking on
Well,
it as he's rolling it
but
down with the blow hose. So it looks like he's just manually making a vacuum.
yeah. I
And
think
then
so.
now, yeah, see, now that that's done, he took the hose off. Very cool. All right, so that's one thing. More here,
That one, I think they were
or? Oh,
casting
here we go. Look at
into
this.
something, I'm not sure. But yeah, isn't that sweet?
What is that? 3D printed glass?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then the 3D printed ceramic with the glass.
All right, gotcha. And what's going on here?
So this is Georgia Redpath, and she is from Stourbridge, England, where there is or was a ceramics factory. And she was influenced by a lot of the organic patterns that she was explaining, like fractals. And You can kind of see it once she explains it a little bit. Like you have to look, you know, it's one of those pieces where you have to look at it to see what she's referencing sometimes. But these are amazing pieces that she's working on. And she's just showing how she invests the mold, how she creates the mold. She basically cuts it out of cardboard and then stacks it and makes a plaster or silicone mold of it, and then makes a reverse of that, and then puts them together and then casts into them. I thought it was very interesting again, and like just to see where she started and where she started, you know, like how she got to where she is. Yeah, I thought her lecture, or lecmo, because it's a lecture and a demo, I thought that was pretty fascinating too. And the way that she creates these molds is really interesting.
So they're printed plastic and then
yeah,
cast?
the plastic is printed. And I think the original ones that she was making were all out of cardboard. Like she would actually cut the cardboard in a positive and negative. And then, oh, right. So another casting. So this is a kiln casting. She was casting butterflies basically and making very, very thin castings. Like an 1/8 of an inch thin cast, which is really, you know, you got to get that glass to get in there, first of all. So it's kind of surprising. But super thin, full of texture. And then at the end, she shows how she sent some of them off to get dichroic coatings on them. They're really beautiful.
Point that's causing.
Oops.
But yeah, she just it was a lecture, this one. So just a lot of her sample pieces and then a presentation of the process. And she's going to be teaching a class coming up as well soon. But I can't remember where.
She's just using a candle to bend stringers?
And this is another lady. And yeah, she was all drawing on glass with stringers. And so she was using that little more than a candle type of burner, like an alcohol. And then playing the shapes and the stringers. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. She's got the dab torch going and everything.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's kiln work, but it's flame working as well. So it's combining the two.
That's fascinating.
I think she's from Korea. Gotta find my cheat sheets.
Yeah.
There we go. Seung Kim. And so that's the pieces after they've been fired. Not very good shots, sorry.
It's okay. Looks like they were pretty basic ones just for demonstration purposes.
Yeah. So she had a piece in the silent auction that was very large. All right, and then that was the 3D printer at the hot shop. It was done printing by the time I got there. So I got there a little after the demo started, because I think they've started by starting that. So that's where they put all their clay in there, and then it extrudes it and just prints around in a little 3D. Lots of 3D printing this year.
Okay.
3D printing glass, 3D printing of ceramic, and then I went to another one. The tail end of, I caught the tail end of it. It was a 3D printing with some sort of, I guess it's just the material that 3D printers normally come with, whatever that is. But I think it's like easily burned out or maybe washed out with water or something, because then they were making molds around those that were really like low impact and didn't have to burn anything out. I don't remember these details. This is why I need the video.
Yeah, this is why Carrie filmed this stuff. Okay, so it's part of their lecture, I guess.
Yeah, part of their lecture.
All right. Oh, these are the wings.
Those are the thin cast wings. Oof. So she starts with the actual wings, and then she makes an alginate mold, smooth on alginate mold. And that is, I really want to get some of it actually and play with it. and then she makes a silicone mold of that, and then she'll make wax out of that, and then a plaster mold around that, and then burn out the wax.
All right.
And then cast it.
And were the colors like dyed glue? Is that right? Or was
No, that's all glass. Yeah.
It's all just the color of the
Yeah,
glass?
just the
Gotcha.
way it loaded it, yeah.
All right, cool, cool. Wow, look at that. Holy
Right?
shit.
Super
Woo!
sparkly.
Wow,
Gorgeous butterfly.
that's amazing.
And a begonia leaf. She did a begonia leaf from her kitchen. Look at that. Look at that texture.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. How many more times are we going to watch that thing?
Good thing it's pretty.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
the gas conference it's just a really great experience. Like I went and attended a panel discussion with Z and Carmen Lozer and Janice Miltenberger, and it was a very like intimate discussion on their influences. And I mean, it's just it was so intimate that I couldn't record it, you know, like
Yeah.
So
guys,
look
we're
at
in the
that
fully
view.
self-indulgent mode here. This is a river in Oregon. Me and Carrie, after we left the gas conference, we went on a little road trip and kind of hiked and camped all over the place. And this is just a beautiful river.
Oh, that was gorgeous. All of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to take you guys on a little...
It's Grandpa Mike's slideshow.
Yeah. And this is actually the Glass Bridge area. See, here it is like during the day. Give y'all a second view on that. Now, on the way there and on the way back, I went through Twin Falls, Idaho. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Twin Falls, Idaho, but if you ever stop there, there's like freaking waterfalls on the way to this Centennial Park down by the water. And you can actually walk behind the waterfall. It's pretty amazing.
Woo! So
Yeah,
tall.
it's freaking crazy.
What did we think it was? 200 feet, or is this the 100 feet?
It was about the same size, it turns out, but one of them just, you know, looks different. Now, this
Okay.
is the Hotel Murano, which is in Tacoma. And every floor features a glass artist. Now, I put about a story up or something, but basically, if you're not staying there, the way to get up there is to go like to the second or third floor and then go to the stairwell. Because the stairwell is open except for the very last two floors. And I think even if you're staying there, like the key won't take you there. So there's...
No, you have to ask for a special key.
Yeah. So this is just one of the floors, you know what I mean? And give you an idea of what they're like. They got these old school
You gonna show
phones and shit.
7?
Let's see where I've got a video of. I'm not sure what floor that is, but I assume Carrie means this floor.
You know what floor it is.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna let Carrie tell you about this floor.
This floor, you come out of the elevator and that's what you see. A wall full of breasts, glass breasts. And I love this saying, you know the feeling when you find the perfect size, and we aren't talking about diamonds. Yeah, so every floor is a different glass artist, and it features their work in the glass case with the big sign next to it, and then down each hallway are process pictures.
Yeah. Did it get the saying in there? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
You know the feeling when you find the perfect size. And we're not talking diamonds. Yeah. Provocative. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. Man, we stopped by a place called Ancient Lakes and Dusty Lake, which is like these lakes and crater area that was formed in like Ice Age floods and shit.
And now apparently the water
yeah.
is fertilized runoff.
Yeah, and me and Carrie, we hiked along this the side of this river, along this nothing but like these weird shale rocks or something. It was mildly sketchy, but Carrie's a trooper. We really wanted to see what was on the other side of this shit, which was actually awesome. I'll show you that in a minute. Because yeah,
By the way, this is the actual trail. You can see it there.
Yeah, wild area. Oh, there's Carrie in the wild. Now this was actually a hike we took in Oregon, right? And you know,
the snowy Oregon?
Yeah, the area that we parked, or the area that we camped in Oregon, there were all these trails and they go up the mountain and shit. But it turns out that like it hadn't really thawed out there yet, and man, we hiked like a mile through like 6-foot snow to get to this fucking thing.
Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration. But
After this, yes, we hiked it about a mile. Look at this. Look at this. There's no exaggeration. To actually get to this part, it wasn't so bad, but after that, we hiked through like a ton of it, where it was like sections of nasty, deep snow.
But we got an amazing view.
Yeah, we just wanted to see how far we could get.
Back at the Hotel Murano.
Oh, yeah, this is back at the hotel. There's Lewis Wilson in the background leaving. You can see him in the reflection, yo.
Oh, yeah.
Look. The man's got a profile, you know? He looked like Indiana Jones or something. He looks like Indiana Jones's grandpa who smokes weed or something.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, that's a compliment in my world. What else do we got here? I guess this is more of that raging ass motherfucker.
Is that Ogden? No.
Ancient lakes again.
We went so many places.
Yeah, we went to a lot of places. It was kind of, you know. I mean, it's dope. It's free as fuck to stay on national parks land and all that, you know. Like, look at this, guys. This is a moss waterfall on the way up to the falls at in Twin Falls, Idaho. There was a bigger one of these later, and I just straight took a shower under it. It was awesome. I was like, Moss Waterfall shower, fuck yeah. Yeah, more of these like cliffside mini falls. This is what was behind that after we hiked that ridiculous lakeside of rock. More waterfalls and shit. This is the one in Ogden. What is this called, baby?
The one in Ogden?
Yeah, the one in Ogden waterfall. Yeah.
Yep.
You don't remember what the trail's called?
I don't. I bet I took a picture.
All right, it's called the Waterfall Canyon Trail, guys. This is back to the Twin Falls one. This looks like ancient lakes, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, that's ancient lakes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it looks ancient.
It's a crazy-ass area, dogs.
And then a dinosaur came around the corner.
It was nuts. Yeah, here's the one in Twin Falls from the side or whatever. So yeah, there's that road, you guys. If you're ever in Twin Falls, just take the road down to Centennial Park, which is at the bottom here, and it'll take you down that road. It's like Canyon View Road or some bullshit like that. And there'll be little parking spots right on the side of the waterfall. Like, it's not actually an area you're supposed to technically be, but okay, so check it out. Right there, you see where there's a car parked on the right? That's my car. And then there's 2 cars coming in or whatever. Yeah, like that's, I think, where we parked there. I can't remember. This might be when I actually hiked out there myself earlier and my car was not parked there. But whatever, you see there's a car parked there? There's like an area where you just sneak around the corner around some boulders and then bam, you're at the fucking falls. And if you're just passing through the area, you can stop on either side of that bridge and there's like a scenic overlook thing and you can walk under the bridge. It's pretty pimp. So yeah, Twin Falls, Idaho, dogs. Who knew? There's even golf down there if that's your thing. So see what else do we got here. Okay, now at the bottom of Twin Falls, if you go to that park and you go past the dock and then past like this area where people eat, you end up on this crazy fucking ledge. And basically like natives used to like fish salmon here and stuff. Yup. But this ledge is crazy. It looks like something out of a fucking video game or something. Yeah, here's Twin Falls when we went back. Because I took like a long hike there. And then on the way back, Carrie was with me. So we took I just parked the car there and took her to the waterfall real quick kind of thing. Yeah, this is the one in Ogden in slow motion. Oh yeah. Here's Moss Waterfalls back at Twin Falls. This is actually in Colorado Springs. This is Pulpit Rock. Or as I call it, Costco Trail. Because it's right across from the Costco. Sweet spot, though. Yeah, that fall, that's the one in Ogden, Utah. So if you're ever passing through Ogden, guys, go to that fucking waterfall. It's pretty sweet. What else do we got here?
That one was on a blog that I found, the 8 best local hikes for Salt Lake City people. So it's
now
Ogden.
This is the inside of the Tacoma Museum of Glass Hot Shop. And basically, if you're not actually working inside of a ventilation duct, I don't think your ventilation is proper now. That's the new standard. I'm gonna show y'all what this looks like. This place is crazy, man. This is what the building is like here from, thank you, Wikipedia. Yeah, it's like this 5-foot-story cone. This is the bridge that we were walking over. Those are also Chihuly sculptures, these giant ice things. But that segment over here is the wall where all the pieces were, and then this is where the that ceiling that we've seen like 8 times now is that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty wild building, yo. Huge ass metal cone. And yeah, this is what it looks like inside. There's our Caesar balcony that we were on earlier. This is a crazy fucking thing. Like that. They got their ventilation right. What else do we got here from Mike's self-indulgent video? Didn't take many videos here, but
just the one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a special event this day. We didn't get to explore the trail here.
And then we did go to see Chromeo at Red Rocks.
Oh yeah.
When we got back to Colorado Springs. It was pretty lit.
Yeah, that was cool. Red Rocks is amazing.
Yeah, if you guys have
That was
never
my
seen a
first time
concert
there.
at Red Rocks, yeah, you got to get down with that, cuz ooh, Red Rocks is dope, you guys. All right, all right, all right. Well, now that you got like Grandpa Mike's slideshow and everything, I think that's probably a good a place as any to wrap this up for the night. Yo, I can't thank the Glass Art Society enough for the way they've opened their arms to me over the years. To Eric Goldschmidt for asking me to be his assistant out there and letting us do the damn thing. I think, he's a friend and somebody who knows how hard I work and, how serious I am about. I mean, as much as we're here to have fun and make this a party, when the camera's on, man, there's no games. And this is a real passion for me. And, the Glass Art Society and Eric letting me stretch my legs a bit and then get to bring some of that magic back for y'all out there. Fucking awesome. I really do appreciate them. And yo, Shawn, like I was with us, I want to shout her out. Cause yeah, I was like, yeah, we'd be live for about an hour, and then I was like, yeah, no, we're gonna share mountains and waterfalls for another 30 minutes. But no, I really do appreciate her. If you guys haven't checked out her podcast, you got to check it out, man. Honestly, I'm not a podcast dude. I don't really listen to any of them of any kind. Even in like the genres of things that I'm very interested in. I just not a podcast dude. I always want to listen to music all the time. But the Talking Out Your Glass thing that Shawn does is really good. She's legit. And when there's an artist that I am interested in and all that, like that's really not trying to be negative on any other show. Some of them I just haven't had much chance to listen to, and some of it just doesn't work for me because, like I said, I'm not a podcast guy.
I think her next podcast is with Zach Puckowitz, the Outlook Studios HBO fam.
So let me close all this stuff up and we can put you back on screen, Carrie. Yeah, no, I really do appreciate her and what she does. Like, very well spoken, very good questions. It never feels canned. I really do dig her work. I dig your work,
I like
Carrie.
sticking it on. Oh, thank you. I like putting Shawn's podcast on when I'm down in the studio. If I'm not listening to music sometimes, or if I'm painting or organizing. Organizing especially is kind of nice. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bid you guys farewell. Oh, wait. Yeah, we should.
There was a whole nother trip that we didn't get to talk about at all.
We didn't even get to talk about it, man.
We went to Kennewick, Washington?
Yep. One of these days, let me sort my pictures by date. But okay, last time we were live, we were shouting out the homie, Roberto, R2 Data Glass. And what is going on here?
That's pretty funny.
I like it. That's a good picture. That's about to be my new profile picture right there.
I love it.
I think it is. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways, one of the brakes on my car was like, "Peace, son." And so we had to stop, and we stopped in like Pesco or Richland, and it's like a Tri-Cities area of Washington on the way out. And I posted in Torch Talk, I was like, who happened to be around? Any homies around here? And man, here's this Hoobs piece they had out on the bench. Good Lord, look at that thing. Holy shit. And anyways, man, my dog, it happened to be right where we had to stop for the day to get some service done on the car. So yeah, we explored the area for the day while he was busy, and then once he was free, man, we got together and had a nice dinner together. And yeah, it was a really great time. And yeah, my man gave me a thing too. Let me go grab that real quick. Carrie, you show him yours.
Yeah. Let me get this up close. So yeah, check this out. It's It's got a little Mike Mason eye in it, right? But look at that. It's like a little beehive or wasp nest.
So cool.
Honey dripping from it. It's pretty
Heck yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, yeah. And then my boy, man, he hooked me up with the pizza guy, the Pizza Raphael. Fuck yeah. All about it. And the one reason I'm all about it is because years ago he sent me a really sweet pendant and he included this box. I know, right?
That's
The
pretty
homie
cool.
is make fucking pizza boxes for his glass. What a cool dude. What a sweet guy. Roberto, if you're watching, man, or if you watch this one day, thank you so much for your hospitality. It really was, man, a pleasure to go get some food together and then get a chance to kick it and hang out. Like I said, man, that was great. It was, I mean, it's no fun having to stop a road trip, but we found a cool hike and we had a nice day and all that. But then when I realized that, like, when you responded to the post and hit me up, I was like, holy fucking shit, my man is here.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is crazy. What a beautiful coincidence. All of it just convinces me that I'm exactly where I need to be, with exactly who I need to be with. And that includes all y'all out there tuning in and listening to me ramble about glass. I really do appreciate all y'all out there. I'm going to wish y'all a good night for now. And take care until we can speak again. Actually, next week, we're going to cover the incredible competition with Team fucking Hoobs and Ryno and who else?
I need to look. I haven't even looked yet.
I know, right? I know.
Like, I haven't had
One of
time to
them's,
think
I'm
about
just
it.
forgetting the third member of that team, but one of them's Team Everdream.
That's
And
great.
one of them's the Molten Art Classic team. So we've been talking about the Molten Art Classic thing that Hoobs does. And yeah, man, let me find the there
Team
we go.
Molten
There's
Art, Jop, Hoobs, and Carson against Team Everdream, WJC, Yushin, and NB.
yeah, shout out to my dog, the OG homie, Dustin, helping with all these the graphics there. Boom.
Perfect.
Yeah, so these are the dogs, man. Fucking
Oh,
Jop,
Nate.
Hoobs,
My
Karsten,
old
WJC, Yushin, and Nate. So yeah, I guess yeah. So it's Hoobs with Jop and yeah, okay. And they're competing for $30,000 fucking dollars, my dogs.
Damn.
This is gonna be some serious shit. This is next week. And yeah, so I'm gonna be rolling out for that, and I'm so excited to cover this, man. And yeah, what a life I lead, and it's all thanks to you guys out there making this a dank community and making this a party. I really appreciate y'all out there. Much love. I'm gonna send y'all off to Carrie for a more lovely goodbye. Make it a rhyme, Carrie, because then they'll know it's time.
Now, I do have a poetry thing that I'm attending tomorrow online.
Okay.
But that's probably about as much as I can do as far as rhyme. That was bad. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much. I'm going to practice my rhyming skills and maybe write you a better poem for the next time that I see you after tomorrow's workshop. Yeah, anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Gas for letting Mike film everything, and for all the people that let me stick a camera in their face to remember what it was that I actually saw. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Carrie. Much love, homies. Peace.